For a sport that is fundamentally about throwing a rock, much talk over the last couple of years has been about how you sweep it. Here's Joe McCusker at ice level.
Definitely a problem last year with the Broomgate and all the controversy with sweeping. Sweeping summer held in May. That's a pebble on a sheet of ice. Now, after you sweep it with whatever device, that pebble is gone. In fact, some brooms left scratches on the ice that actually would drag the rock in the direction that they want. There's John Mead. They took a look at all sorts of different kinds of fabrics and heads. That's part of the weave of one of the fabrics. They really wanted to take away any advantage to certain broom types and so get back to the throwers. So here are the recommendations that'll be used right across Canadian curling. They decided that directional sweeping is allowed. That is what was broken out last year with the one sweeper sweeping on an angle, because when they changed the fabric and everyone has the same fabric, the directional sweeping was less effective. Only one broom per player, no more switching of brooms, no more changing of heads. Only this yellow fabric that you see on all the brooms, on all the manufacturers, are allowed. Bruce, this has really changed the game. All of the curlers are in favor of these changes. It's brought it back to the thrower and an even playing field for all the teams.
Joe McCusker, and we figured when we were going to figure out who was going to talk about sweeping, nothing against you two guys, but it should probably be Joan.
Good call. Yeah, it wasn't going to be us, that's for sure. We're good from the tee line back, though.
Strong for 6 feet.
Keep going. Yep.
Follow up on that thought, though, Kevin, for a moment. Too much was made of sweeping in the last year, according to those that are the curling purists, and now we're back to really focusing on throwing that rock, aren't we?
Well, absolutely. And I think you want the player to be, you see the talent of the touch and of being able to throw the rock hard and accurate. And it just didn't really matter how you threw a rock last year, because the sweepers could always make it curl or make it fall, make it do this or that. That's not, in my mind, that's simply not right. So this has been a great year. We actually see people miss a few shots, whereas last year there were very, very few misses.
The line's good.
The other thing, and sweeping is still effective. Like, let's not make any mistake about it. But what it does now, you can only make the rock go further, in theory, and hold it a little bit straighter because of that on a hit, which is what the brooms were originally designed to do. And the other thing that players like, and what I've heard from a number of players, is that strength matters again. So the guys who are working out harder, the bigger, stronger, fitter guys, they're getting the benefit of all that off-ice work they're doing. So it's a welcome change. But the bright side, I think we learned a lot about sweeping last year, and we talked about that a little bit. We learned so much about that term directional sweeping. The angle with which you sweep makes a difference, and we still see teams having one sweeper. In this case, Ryan Fry trying to make it curl. It just doesn't have the same degree of effect anymore with this neutral fabric. To give you an idea, Bruce, on a draw, take edge of the forefoot, for example. They were throwing draw weight with the abrasive fabrics. Ben Hebert was one of the test sweepers. He could make the rock hit the sideboards before the hog line with directional sweeping. He would make it curl 20, 25 feet more than if you just let the rock go on its own. And if he swept on the other side, he could actually make it fall back to the sideboards on the other side, negative. Now, end to end, a guy like Ben Hebert going end to end on a draw can make it curl one rock more on a draw, which is fine. That's completely acceptable. That's within the parameters that all the players find acceptable. And it's just we've gotten away from the sweeping making the biggest difference as opposed to the thrower making the biggest difference.